The concept of the devil wanting to keep Christians poor is rooted in biblical teachings and has been a topic of discussion among Christians for centuries. According to Scripture, the devil, also known as Satan, is an enemy of God and seeks to undermine God's plans and purposes, including the well-being and prosperity of his children. One of the ways the devil achieves this is by keeping Christians in a state of poverty, which can be both physical and spiritual. The Bible teaches that the devil is a thief who comes to steal, kill, and destroy. John 10:10. He seeks to steal the joy, peace, and prosperity that God has given to Christians, and one of the ways he does this is by keeping them in poverty. Poverty can lead to a range of negative emotions, including anxiety, fear, and desperation, which can distract Christians from their relationship with God and hinder their ability to fulfill their purpose on earth. The devil also uses poverty to keep Christians in a state of dependence on the world rather than on God. When Christians are struggling financially, they may be more likely to turn to the world for solutions such as getting a second job or accumulating debt rather than trusting in God's provision. This can lead to a form of spiritual poverty, where Christians become disconnected from their faith and start to rely on their own strength and resources rather than seeking guidance and provision from God. Furthermore, poverty can also limit Christians' ability to fulfill the Great Commission, which is to spread the gospel to all nations. When Christians are struggling financially, they may not have the resources to support missionary work, evangelism, or other forms of ministry. The devil knows that if he can keep Christians in a state of poverty, he can limit their ability to spread the gospel and fulfill their purpose on earth. In addition, poverty can also lead to a range of other negative consequences, including poor physical and mental health, strained relationships, and a lack of opportunities. The devil can use these consequences to keep Christians in a state of bondage, making it difficult for them to experience the freedom and prosperity that God has promised them. However, the Bible also teaches that Christians have the power to overcome poverty and live a life of abundance and prosperity. In 2 Corinthians 9:8, the Apostle Paul writes, "And God is able to bless you abundantly, so that in all things at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work." This verse suggests that God is able to provide for Christians' needs and bless them abundantly, so that they can live a life of prosperity and generosity. To overcome poverty and experience the prosperity that God has promised, Christians must trust in God's provision and seek guidance from His Word. They must also be willing to take steps to manage their finances effectively, such as creating a budget, saving, and investing. Additionally, Christians must be willing to give generously to others, as giving is a key principle of biblical prosperity. In conclusion, the devil wants to keep Christians poor because it limits their ability to fulfill their purpose on earth and experience the freedom and prosperity that God has promised them. Poverty can lead to a range of negative consequences, including anxiety, fear, and desperation, and can distract Christians from their relationship with God. However, Christians have the power to overcome poverty and live a life of abundance and prosperity by trusting in God's provision, seeking guidance from His Word, and taking steps to manage their finances effectively. By doing so, Christians can experience the freedom and prosperity that God has promised them and fulfill their purpose on earth.